3 Mile Island could be the next Fukushima type event. It's already happened once before. 3 Mile Island incident in 1979, partial meltdown. And you know what? They decided a few years later, what the heck, let's just build more of them. Our country could be in dire straits with all of these nuclear facilities, these ticking time bombs around the globe. Now, I think of the different possible scenarios that could go down with any one of these nuclear facilities if they don't stay cool enough. You know, if the cooling system doesn't keep these reactors cold enough, or I shouldn't say cold, but if it doesn't keep them cool enough, they go into meltdown. And as you've seen in Fukushima and Chernobyl, when certain meltdown events happen, the radiation is so intense that robots can't even fix the problem. They malfunction. And there's still people out there that think the nuclear industry is a hoax, and there's no such thing as people getting sick from nuclear radiation. How insane is that? Now, this 3 Mile Island, as you can see right here by Andrew O'Reilly, if you go to foxnews.com, you can read this article. And the owners of 3 Mile Island, of the nuclear power plant out there, say that they might have to shut it down in 2019 because they're not making any money. They've been losing money the past few years. Oh, really? You don't say. You don't think that was a bad investment in the first place? Now, first of all, these nuclear reactors usually have about a 40-year shelf life before they get extensions. And as you know, some of the radioactive isotopes that are used to steam water, to turn water into steam for power, how genius is that? Hey, man, let's make up bombs so they'll make steam and we can power stuff with it like our fridge and our air conditioner. I was about to use the R word, but I know that there's been people that have asked me, hey, don't use that word because some people might think that it is disrespectful. So I'm not going to use that word. It is ludicrous. It is beyond stupid and insane at the same time. Unless you want to destroy biology. If you want to destroy life, make nuclear energy. There you go. They go hand in hand. Now, as you can see right here, this is where it gets real freaky, guys. Check this out. Go ahead and, first off, if you go to Wikipedia and you read about 3 Mile Island incident and, they weren't able to find any links to cancer after the incident. Really? They weren't? Well, what about this article that just came out that said, study links 3 Mile Island nuclear partial meltdown to thyroid cancers in surrounding areas? Did you guys know there's over 2 million people within a 50-mile radius of 3 Mile Island nuclear facility? Oh, that's just genius, isn't it? Yeah, for population control, it's genius. And as you can see, these two maps that I've got up here, I have a map of the nuclear reactors in the U.S. on the top. And underneath that, I've got a map of the seismic activity where there's potentially going to be earthquakes, locations where there's higher levels of earthquakes. And gee, it looks like almost every single nuclear reactor was put just right over one of these hot spots for seismic activity. Another brilliant idea by the nuclear industry. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. These guys they must really hate life. They must have been the kids in school that were picked on all the time and just want to get them back somehow. Don't you think? Okay. So, look at this. Let me read something to you real quick here. The 3 Mile Island nuclear generating station. You've got the TM1 and the TM2. Now, there was the accident back in March 28th of 1979 where the TM1-2 or the TMI-2 suffered a partial meltdown, which is really, really bad. It's just a partial meltdown. No big deal. There's 400 plus reactors around the world. Last I always think it was like 449 reactors, and they want to build more. So 3 Mile Island is so named because it's located 3 miles downriver from Middletown, Pennsylvania. Okay, so In 2010, the population within 10 miles of 3 Mile Island is over 211,000 people. And it's been increasing slowly over the past decade. Now in 2010, the population within 50 miles is 2,803,322. An increase of 10% since 2000. And you've got Harrisburg, York, Lancaster. Now, unfortunately, TMI might cease operations in 2019 due to high costs of the operating plant, and they're losing money. Oh, I feel so bad for you guys. How unfortunate that you're losing money in the nuclear industry. Gee, that's just, my heart goes out to you. Not. You go bankrupt. Now, this right here, pressurized water reactor, designed by Babcock and Wilcox, yeah, a couple of dickheads, with a net generating capacity of 852 milliwatts. The initial construction was about $400 million, equivalent to $1.94 billion today, and it came on to operation back in 1974. 5 years later, they've got the 3 Mile Island incident. And then in February 93, crazy man decides to drive his car through a checkpoint. Nobody got hurt, okay. And then in 2009, a release of radioactivity occurred inside the containment building while workers were cutting pipes. No big deal, though. You know, they got mild radiation exposure, and they were treated, and they were let go. Now, keep in mind, let me go into this next one here. This is where it's located. You know, here's the map. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Look at this. Middletown, York, Hershey. Oh, it's gonna make all that chocolate radioactive. How sad. It's not too far from Baltimore. I mean, look at this. This is two reactors. One facility, two reactors, just waiting to go boom. And our government is spending more money on transgender bathrooms than to fix ticking time bombs in their own backyard. How does that make logical sense unless there's people out there that don't have your best interests at heart, ladies and gentlemen, or things out there that don't care about you? That's one reactor. Two reactors, one facility. I'm sorry, this is just pissing me off. I mean, look at this. And also, look at this river. It's right off of this river right here that connects to Clear Lake. You can see Clear Lake, clearly a water source that then connects to what? What is this right here? Chesapeake Bay? Yeah, it connects to Chesapeake Bay. No big deal. You know, everybody's doing it. You want to build a reactor? Give you a good deal. Want to buy a timeshare too? Maintenance fees are real cheap. It's like nuclear reactors are like timeshare on steroids with methamphetamines. The maintenance fees you're still paying. You'll have to pay the maintenance fees for these freaking timeshare nuclear reactors for the rest of your life, ladies and gentlemen. How do you feel about that? You like your air conditioning now? Oh, I bet you love it. I'll bet you just love it. All right. Look at this. Turning my video off so I can give dirty looks to people. It just pisses me off. All right. So, as you can see right here, you've got two maps that outline where the most seismic activity takes place. And then you can see right here the map that shows the reactors in the U.S. So, look at the majority on the northeast, and then down here towards the southeast here. And then you've obviously got the Diablo plant, which is in a terrible hotspot out there by the San Andreas fault line. You know, you got the Washington Hanford facility that has tunnels that are collapsing. Oh, no big deal. It's just normal to have a tunnel collapse next to a plutonium-uranium extraction point. Yeah, totally normal. Go back to work. You're a conspiracy theorist, dude. How dare you scare people when you tell them that they're being just blasted with radiation? How dare you, you conspiracy theorist? Okay, so almost 100 reactors in the U.S. And once again, you could overlay these two maps. And it's like they picked the most seismic the spot with the most seismic activity to build the reactor over. Or they decide to obviously build it next to a river or a source of water or the coast, because that way they'll have the water that they need to cool the reactors, to create steam to power your refrigerator and your air conditioner. But about what, 10-20% of the entire industry of energy is from nuclear energy? Oh, if you don't have nuclear, you might as well just go blow up mountaintops and get coal, right? Nobody needs those silly mountains anyway. Or we'll just frack the planet and suck the lifeblood out of the earth, and then people can use that energy. That's cheaper anyway. Who needs nuclear when you can use gasoline and petroleum and the blood of the earth? Because we love the people. We love the people. We love them. We like to put them in. We like to give them Soylent Green in their burgers. They will never know. Tastes like chicken. I mean, this is, in my opinion, a bigger threat than Planet X, or a bigger threat than the flat earth theory, or a bigger threat than my basketball team not making it to the finals this year, man. I'm going to kick somebody's ass. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, though? People just get furious because their sports team doesn't make it to the finals. And they just want to, man, that guy was a referee, man. The ref, if I ever see that ref, man, you know what I'm going to do to him? That's the kind of stuff you hear at the bars. People getting drunk, watching sports teams, watching these, basketball players and football players and baseball players making millions of dollars a year to hit a ball or to throw a ball in a basket with these really cool tricks, like a ballerina dunking a ball. Woo! I just dunked it over your face. You like my new tattoos all over my body? They look pretty good, don't they? My tattoos are awesome, man. Don't make fun of my tattoos, man. I got tattoos all over my body, man. I make $20 million a year dunking a ball. And then you've got educators, people that are doing their best to teach children how to be good, productive citizens, and they're making like 50 grand a year. I shouldn't even use the term citizens, but you know what I mean. To be good people, and they'll be lucky to make 50 grand a year, if they're even lucky. Or, how about engineers out there that are coming up with these incredible ideas and patents, working for the machine, working for the system, maybe making $50,000 to $80,000 a year, while they're living in a house that's, mortgage is $2,000 a month, and then they got to pay several $1,000s in taxes and insurance, and they're just getting sucked dry. Oh man, you make 80 grand a year, dude, you're loaded. And then all their money's going to the system anyway. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just insane how we pay people to dunk a ball $20 million a year, yet people that should be paid a lot more because of what they're doing. And then, yeah, you could get into the system around the world too. Poor people in other countries are making 10 cents a day. They're living off of roots and dirt, and they smell like shit because they can't take a decent shower. I get it. Welcome to the New World Order, where they love us so much that they give you different levels of slavehood that you can pick. What level do you want to be today? It fascinates me. One thing that I've learned a lot about the past couple years with Leak Project is the way people think. And it amazes me the mindsets of people today in regards to things that don't really matter. And they're willing to go to bat for it. And just putting countless hours of energy into to prove their superior intellect. It's like saber rattling on a keyboard. It's like you could go back 1,000 years, and you would have the mental, the intellects and the physical warriors, and then you would have people that were kind of in the middle that would be good at both, and they would deal with things in a physical manner. Now, because we're all plugged into the system, all you got to do is be a big bad boy on your computer, and you could be 7 foot tall, weigh 300 pounds, and be a 4th degree black belt on the internet. Bonjour. Remember that commercial where there's that guy from, guy meets that gal from the internet. She's like, everything on the internet's real. It told me so. I'm meeting a French model for a date. This guy shows up. He looks like a total loser, and he's all, bonjour. I don't know, guys. I mean, seriously, if you really put into consideration how devastating these nuclear reactors are and how many of them there are around the world and where they're located. I mean, Fukushima could be like a walk in the park if multiple reactors go off at once. And yeah, that walk in the park's still nasty, and you're not going to make it to the other side without your eyeballs falling out of your head and your guts coming out of your bowels because of the amount of radiation in some of those locations. And now, somebody that says, "Oh man, you're a conspiracy theorist, dude. Nobody can get sick from radiation. There was this one guy that used to eat plutonium for a living." Well, the guy died of throat cancer. But I would like to see somebody that says that. I wouldn't like to see this because I still have a conscience, and I wouldn't want that person to get exposed to nasty radiation just because they don't believe in it. That's not the right thing to think. But sometimes you ever think about stuff like that, people that are like, as an example, man, vaccines are good for you, dude. Just because there's aluminum and formaldehyde and aborted babies and monkey parts in there doesn't mean it's bad for you. It's good for you. I've got all my flu shots. I'm great, man. I feel good. You know, those kind of people that really, truly just like to mess with people that are hoping to help people by showing the substances inside of these chemicals. You know, sometimes you think, man, wouldn't it be interesting to see that guy get injected with a bunch of vaccines at once and then just all of a sudden go, you know, like Gurion Beret. I mean, and then you're like, no, man, because even that slime ball doesn't deserve the nasty physical, mental, spiritual side effects of many of these toxic cocktails that are disguised as vaccines. You know, every industry out there, every single one of them, whether it's the nuclear industry, the war machine, the medical industry, you're going to have people on both sides that are going to give their positions of why they feel that it's right or that it's wrong or that it's on the right track or that it's on the wrong track. And that's really for you to decide. You know, what is your personal experience with these industries? And how do you feel about it? Because perception oftentimes, people say, is reality. I mean, you know, somebody's pleasure might be somebody's pain. What tastes good for one person isn't going to taste good for somebody else. So that's why when you hear the saying, treat others as you want to be treated, well, how does that person want to be treated? I mean, most people want to be treated kind and with compassion, and then you've got those twisted souls out there for ego or for whatever reason, you know, the manipulation at some level anyway, that might have a different mindset, and you might not want to be treated the way they're treated. You know, for example, I know, you know, I've been in sales for years. I'm not in sales anymore, but I was in the sales industry for years, and I knew when somebody was putting me together, and it drove me nuts. Now, if somebody was genuine, hey, that's awesome. But if somebody would just say something to me to make me feel good about myself, to go do something for them, you know, I could see right through that. And it just drove me nuts. So I think being sincere is, you know, that's one of my pet peeves. That's something that's really important to me. If you're sincere, even if you are wrong, you know, if you really truly believe in what you're doing, I think that that's a lot more powerful and a lot more honorable than somebody that doesn't believe in what they're doing and pushes that agenda anyway, that knows it's a hoax, that knows it's false, but that's pushing an agenda for their own gain, even though they know that it's hurting others. So there you have it. I know that today it's been kind of a combination of a rant with, you know, some of the nuclear stuff, but when I bring this stuff to the table, you guys, it is just so frightening to think about that if you stay at the serious level the entire time, you could have a heart attack, man. I mean, you could have a stroke right there. People have heard the saying, stress can cause a lot of problems, and it can. And I have heard that one of the #1 killers in America is unrelieved stress, which leads to other ailments and issues. So, yes, we all get stressed out. It's how we deal with that stress. And how do you deal with your stress? How do you guys deal with it when you see this kind of stuff and you know that it's going on all around you, and then you talk to people about it, and they're like, dude, I don't care, man. I got the walking donkey on later. You know, we got these zombie donkeys, and they're just so much fun to watch. So I don't care. I got work in the morning. What do you do when you are constantly facing those blocks and trials and tribulations? The more you help people sometimes, the more it seems they turn the other cheek, or I shouldn't even say turn the other cheek, just turn away and go go do something completely different because they just don't want to think about it. And when does it get to the point of diminishing returns? What's your take? LeakProject.com. Also, if you are interested in some survival type gear that's cheap and light, and you could carry around in your backpack, in your purse, in your pocket, under your seat in your car, in your glove box. They're called quick bivvies. I'm going to leave a link in the video description box for you guys. I mean, one of these things could definitely come in handy if you're hiking, you get lost. If you're on a road trip, you go off the side of the road, you need to stay warm. These things are awesome. So I would definitely recommend checking out the link. I'll leave it in the video description box. If the link doesn't work for you, please get back to me. There's been a couple people that said the link didn't work, but I think that's because they were on their phone. So if you're on a computer, you should have no problems. And I think most people even can get on them with their phone too. It just depends on what phone you're using. I'm not sure. So anyway, I definitely check it out, the quick bivvy link. And if you haven't become a premium member at Leak Project yet, make sure to do so. It's $10 a month or $50 for the whole year. What a deal, right? Then you can listen to me rant more. Oh yeah. So anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate it. Have a beautiful day. Be the change you want to see. 3 Mile Island could be the next Fukushima type event. It's already happened once before. 3 Mile Island incident in 1979, partial meltdown. And you know what? They decided a few years later, what the heck, let's just build more of them. Our country could be in dire straits with all of these nuclear facilities, these ticking time bombs around the globe. Now, I think of the different possible scenarios that could go down with any one of these. Insane as that. Now, this 3 Mile Island, as you can see right here by Andrew O'Reilly, if you go to foxnews.com, you can read this article. And the owners of 3 Mile Island, of the nuclear power plant out there, say that they might have to shut it down in 2019 because they're not making any money. They've been losing money the past few years. Oh, really? You don't say. You don't think that was a bad investment in the first place? Now, first of all, these nuclear reactors usually have about a 40-year shelf life. I'm not going to use that word. It is ludicrous. It is beyond stupid and insane at the same time. Unless you want to destroy biology. If you want to destroy life, make nuclear energy. There you go. They go hand in hand. Now, as you can see right here, this is where it gets real freaky, guys. Check this out. Go ahead and, well, first off, if you go to Wikipedia and you read about 3 Mile Island incident and before they get extensions. And as you know, some of the radioactive isotopes that are used to steam water, to turn water into steam for power, how genius is that? Hey man, let's make up bombs so they'll make steam and we can power stuff with it like our fridge and our air conditioner. I was about to use the R word, but I know that there's been people that have asked me, hey, don't use that word because some people might think that it is disrespectful. So nuclear facilities, if they don't stay cool enough, if the cooling system doesn't keep these reactors cold enough, or I shouldn't say cold, but if it doesn't keep them cool enough, they go into meltdown. And as you've seen in Fukushima and Chernobyl, when certain meltdown events happen, the radiation is so intense that robots can't even fix the problem. They malfunction. And there's still people out there that think the nuclear industry is a hoax, and there's no such thing as people getting sick from nuclear radiation. How